back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about One Piece episode 1109. And this episode is a little bit more of a mixed bag just due to the fact that it's kind of like one of those old Disney shows where you need to fill the half-hour block, so you end up putting two stories that are 15 minutes side by side just to fill the entire block. But at least in this one, both stories are fantastic because the first one is the usual story on Egghead, and we'll be getting to that one right away. But the main topic I want to talk about, we'll quickly touch on it before we get back to the first half of the episode, is the Elbaf. And we get Shanks and everybody at Elbaf. There's so much I want to talk about, but before we get into that stuff, let's actually jump into the main factor of the main episode, so that way we can actually spend quite a bit of time on Elbaf, because I got a few things to say about that. When we pick the episode up, it's already on Egghead, and we're going through the whole where we picked up last episode type of thing, but I'm really excited for what we're going to get at this, because we got the start of this is the team we didn't know we needed. I know I always wanted Zoro and Kaku ever since Kaku was, I was hoping that he would join the crew back in Water 7, but Lucci and Luffy, man, these two are, honestly, they remind me a lot of Zoro and Sanji. Not in the ones that, both idiots are Sanji and Zoro, but the way they are competitive with each other, but you could tell that there's a healthy respect. They don't like each other whatsoever. They think that the other one is Lucci thinks Luffy is just an idiot, thinks that he needs to be gone, and hates the entire concept of the pirate. But Luffy just hates because he just thinks that Lucci is evil. And he just hates the entire concept of evil people, and he just thinks that everyone should be able to live their life how they want. But at the same time, there's a healthy respect because they know what the other one's capable of. They fought each other multiple times. So Lucci knows where Luffy is above him, but Luffy also understands that Lucci is no one to be trifled with. Kaku and Zoro, though, those two are a duo that I've always wanted to see together, fighting side by side. Because, I don't know, just the idea of a actual Usopp that knows how to fight and knows how to do everything, him teaming up with Zoro, just, I don't know, just seemed really cool to me, and I wanted to see that team up really badly. The moment he stepped on the ship and he was going to start checking in, before they did the evil turn, I was hoping Kaku was join the crew. I was just and that's why I thought they were getting Zoro. I mentioned this before, but I'm pretty sure I thought that's why they were getting Usopp out, so that way they could bring Kaku in, that way they can still keep a long-nosed guy. But we didn't get it, but we're getting the team up. I'm really excited the fact that we actually get to see the team up now, so I'm not going to complain about that whatsoever. And when they team up, honestly, that was badass, because you get Kaku doing the White Tempest kick with Zoro doing one of his signature slashes, and then you cut over to Luffy and Lucci, and I don't know if this was intentional, on the animators or whatever, but when Luffy comes up, he goes for the bounce man. And also, side note, bounce man, I like how it has that little smoke ring behind it, how since his fruit's been unlocked, so now he just has that, kind of the similar way to how Lucci has his black one. So I like the fact that it's not just with his Gear 5. He as far as if I'm aware of what this trend is going, if he does Gear 2, maybe he'll have it too. And honestly, just a Gear 2 Luffy with the smoke ring, that is going to look badass. But anyway, back to the point I was trying to make before. When Luffy goes up for the bounce man punch, and Lucci comes up behind him, and he goes in and he starts to come in for the attack, the animators cut to Luffy's face, and all of a sudden I was it was the full competition mode. Luffy, you guys are in the middle of this fight. He still can't help but be in full competition mode, where it's just you ain't getting there before me. I'm getting that first punch in. So I'm pretty sure that was intentional, but if it wasn't, it's just something subtle that was subtly put in that I love to see, because no matter who it is, if they're fighting against each other, fighting with each other, there's always that competition. Zoro and Sanji have it. Luffy and Zoro have it. The three new generation pirates between Kid, Law, we'll get back to Kid, and Luffy, the three of them, the way they always work together is with Big Mom's flame attack. Just last one to move is the weak. It's just, and then also when they're going over the Falls of Wano, it's just oh, you guys are gonna take the safe way. Of course you guys are, because you're the weak pirates. And it's turn the ship now. So the competition that all the pirates have with each other between the crews and also even with the Marines and all the Navy people, like they still have all the competition because they want to prove that they're the best. So I don't know. To me, it was just a subtle little thing. Maybe I went on that a little bit more than I should have, but it was just a nice little thing that I picked up that I was really happy to see because it's just a consistent through line that Oda has with his characters. And the animators that do this show, they have a clear understanding for the show that they're making and like the little movements and like everything that's supposed to happen with these characters. I love this show and everything that it has to do with this show. Like the animation in the show, this episode specifically, visually spectacular. Visually spectacular when everything is standing still. But like I noticed it especially when Kid was walking a little bit later on the episode. Everything looked like it was missing a frame here and there. Like it was just chunky the way it was moving. But again, like when everything looks like a beautiful poster on every single still frame. I mean, you kind of forgive that at points, except in that maybe it was happening all episode, but I just very much noticed it when Kid was walking, just because it was so stuttered in the way that the animation was framed. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me in this. Maybe make my brain glitch or something. Like I watched the episode twice and it bugged me twice both times I watched it, and I don't know. It's just the way that they do it. Like maybe they were pressed for time on it, but like I just seemed like it was missing a frame. But quickly touching on back before they actually unlocked the cuffs, I love the way that Luffy just while Zoro and Kaku were arguing over here, doing their thing, Luffy just like looks over at Helmet, as he likes to call him, the Vegapunk, the nice one, and he ends up saying, "It's just like pass me the keys to the cuffs," and immediately that's the thing I love about Zoro. Zoro's like, "Hey, the captain said an order earlier that says absolutely not, so I'm following that." The moment Luffy says give me the keys to the cuffs. Zoro just takes a step back, just puts a smile on his face. All right, this is what we're doing, I guess. Like, dude is loyal through and through, and he is the best first mate that any captain could ask for. Zoro is the absolute man. But the way that Luffy ends up saying to Lucci is like, hey, you're not going to attack my friends after all this is done just because you can't beat me, right? And Lucci, of course, like everything Lucci says is absolutely brilliant. Because he has to say, it's like, no, I'm not going to fight your friends. I want to fight you first. I want to kill you before I kill any of them, so I'm going to fight you first. And it's just like, he's going to lose. You know he's going to lose, but you respect it. Like, you respect the ass whooping that man's about to take when he fights Luffy again. But then at the same time, you end up having him deliver probably one of my favorite lines of Egghead so far, just because the fact that it shows he's a no nonsense character. He's very like the moment he had to take off that persona of being the mute guy that has a bird talking from that's a little bit silly, that's kind of like still a bit stiff. The moment that Shara was gone, he's immediately just the most badass, just cold character. Like when Vegapunk asks him, "What is your mission here?" And he says like, and Lucci like no bones about it, just says to him, "He's like, our mission is to eliminate all 7 Vegapunks, and we will make sure that Stussy, for betraying us, meets her end." And I was just like, boy, like, and Kaku screamed. I was like, no, don't tell him this, man. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, we want to like that. Lucci cool as a cucumber. Just nothing phases the man. Absolutely nothing phases him. So I mean, I honestly I can't blame the guy. Like when you got that type of ability, like you're gonna get a little cocky, especially when you're constantly being told that you're a prodigy your entire life. So I mean, but again, like when you're being told a prodigy, he's got like that Vegeta syndrome, right? You've been told you're a prodigy your entire life, and you got just enough ammunition to back it up until you get your ass kicked at the main fight. So it's just how it goes. Like you got that almost main character syndrome, where you're almost able to win the fight. But man, once they actually do team up and you actually get them delivering those final attacks where you actually get the double fist pistol and you actually get the elephant gun from Bounce Man at the same time on the bear, who again I'm not getting over that it just looks like adult Kuma. And as the animation's gone on, they've just been making him slightly bigger and bigger. Everyone else is slightly staying the same. But now in this animation, it's just Kuma. It's just now a winged flame bear Kuma. And it's just I don't know. It's just there's such consistency in everything else, but as the show's been going through Egghead, it's like the S Bear is just evolving just way quicker than everybody else. Just because just it's like they realized at the last second, it's just or they got confused by the design. It's just like, well, I mean, he's designed like adult Kuma, so he's adult Kuma, and like somewhere along the lines, he went from like small child that looks like adult Kuma to now just adult Kuma S Bear. So and I don't know. It's just one of those little things that I consistently pick up on because like I'm myself, I'm an artist. You guys can tell from the pictures behind me, these are all stuff that I've drawn. But like I love like animation, drawing, and like so when you know and like you look at pictures and art and like so when it flies by, like you have a tendency to notice this type of stuff. And when I notice this type of stuff in animation, especially when I watch an episode a couple times, it really stands out with me. Again, going back to the walking scene with Kid and the fact of how stuttery he looked when he walked. It's just something that I've always been like really in tune with, and it's again like it's nothing against the episode, and it doesn't really draw me out of it, and I guarantee like most people probably haven't even noticed it. So it's nothing really bad against it. It's just something that I just personally noticed that kind of just for half a second each time. Like when I first see him, I'm just like, hmm. But then like I'm immediately brought back into it, and it's just the thing that I've dealt with already. But it's just one of those things like every time you see it, it's just the same knee jerk reaction that you have until you like smooth yourself back into it. Then you also end up getting S Hawk getting taken out by Kaku and Zoro when they come in for the double move there. I honestly, I still want Kaku on the crew. It won't happen. I know it's not going to happen, but everyone has that list of people that they want to join the crew. Like at the top of mind, it's always going to be Bonchan, and like there's always going to be like Vivi, and there's going to be like if Boa was ever to join. Like, a lot of people just because they like ship her and Luffy just because she's got the crush, but I Kaku is always going to be on that list for me just because he's such a silly character. Like without like he gets along with Zoro. Like he would be Zoro's best friend. Like he'd be like now that Zoro like everyone's got like that maybe Zoro's gay chat. If Kaku joined the crew, 100% everybody like yeah they're gay. Like they're definitely gay. They're always working out together. They're always drinking together. They always like they never leave each other. I'm pretty sure that like. But I that's one thing that I want him on the crew, but it's just again like no ships, right? So that wouldn't even matter. But I want Kaku on the crew. I want him. I want Bonchan because you know he's not alive. He's still sitting around and Impel down. And I want Bo on the crew. I know everyone wants Vivi on the crew, but Vivi's got a country to run, so that lady's busy. What's Boa got to do? Like we've already established that the women or the leaders of their island can already go away. So they've done it for love before. They can do it for love again. So just say it. Then the lady that well, that was like the right hand man of Boa, like that lady that was really good at archery. She can be the new leader because you know it ain't going to go to one of the Gorgon sisters. You need a pretty one to get on the boat apparently. And don't come at me, everyone saying that you like your big queens. I understand that some of you like the big snake lady, but no, not on the boat. Not gonna. She's not gonna get in the boat. But that brings us to my favorite part of the episode. Nothing much really happened in this part of the episode, except everything happened in this part of the episode. Because everybody's back. Dory's back. Borgie's back. Shanks and the crew are back. We find out that Shanks is the one that took Kid's arm, and now that Kid wants revenge. You know he's gonna want to fight Shanks, but the moment he sees Beck, it's game on. It's like, you took my arm. And Beck's going to say it. I'm going to take the other one too. I love the entire introduction of the Shanks red hair pirates. I mean, we've already met a few of them, but we end up. My favorite that we get introduced to is lime juice. I mean, bro, I understand that it's you got to come up with names and stuff like that for a lot of characters, but sometimes you know that Oda just goes, screw it, lime juice. He just looked across the table. He saw lime juice on the table. Was like, we'll name that character Lime Juice, and it just. I love that type of stuff. Whenever you get characters that are just like that's one of the main things I love about the naming of Dragon Ball. As soon as I found out they were all like Vegeta is vegetable, Goku is or Kakarot, I'm sorry, is carrot, Broly is Broly. All these names are just like they're vegetables. Awesome. That's I like bad puns. I'm a fan of a bad pun. I mean, good puns are awesome. Bad puns are better. I like the way that they actually do the lead in with Shanks because as they're showing everyone, they're showing the kid, they're showing the lady at the bar, and then they're showing Shanks at like half face. And I'm sitting there the entire time, the first time I watched it, going, like, we know what Shanks looks like. Why are you showing Shanks at this off angle? Why does it look so weird? And then like you see everyone else and like they're kind of like zoomed in really close, but you still see their full face. But then like as the scene goes on, they're slowly zooming out. So like you see a gigantic meat leg, or like you notice that the big thing that they're eating are just massive berries. And you start thinking, like right before you get to the actual reveal of the name, you start thinking, are they in Elbath? I mean, Land of Giants, like you Shanks, like you think, because Shanks is always in weird place that like the gang is not really privy to, right? So it's just like, would he be in Elbath? So and then right as you start thinking that, you cuts away and the narrator starts talking about in the land of Elbath, and it's just like, dude, this is awesome because like this is something that we've always wanted, right? We're always here because we want Usopp to end up being the one to go to Elbath, and he deserves the big story in Elbath. But getting Shanks there, and you get to see Borgie and Dory again. I mean, dude, this is awesome. I wasn't really a big fan of Usopp. This is just a little sidetrack. I wasn't really a big fan of Usopp when Usopp first got introduced and all that stuff. I'm not a big fan of like the boy who cried wolf ish character. Like it's a played out type of character. Like it's one of those for characters that's it's interesting at the beginning, but if it's like a mainstay character, it really runs thin with me. But the moment that we actually get introduced to Borgie and Dory, and the fact that they're the giants from Elbath, and like that entire arc where Usopp is actually like getting to know them and learning the way of a warrior through the giants, like it really helps you get endeared to Usopp, and it actually makes the entire concept of wanting to go to Elbath all the much more important, because all you want to do is now these guys, like for me specifically, these guys are the ones that inspired Usopp. These guys are able to do something that no one was able to do. They made me care about Usopp. I mean, Usopp is that character that when he got introduced, I just no interest. Like, yeah, he's on the crew. He's going to be that crew member that's on the bottom. Everyone has a tier list for how their crew members are ranked. Usopp was just going to be at the bottom of mine. Turns out Sanji, so little bit under there now because the wavy. I'm sorry, this is a little much, but like Zoro is going to be always at the top of the list, but when it came like Usopp just kept like coming up, and then when we got to Water 7, Usopp shot up because I personally did not agree with him, but the motivation of the character made sense. And the entire motivation of wanting to keep Mary in the crew, because Mary isn't just a ship, Mary's the crew member. She's the main crew member that carries this crew. And like you understand where he's coming from and just really endears you to the character. So now that we're actually like really being teased with going to Elbath, like we can actually get the full circle into getting the full courageous God D Usopp that we deserve. I again, Usopp's not my favorite character, but if Elbath goes properly, he has a chance to be within my top three favorite characters of all time. Because in Dressrosa, everything that he did when he got his observation hockey unlocked and he went through all that stuff, I that was one of the things I had to take a second look at when I was watching it again, because I was like, I didn't understand that he got observation hockey right away. It was just one of those things like, because you don't expect someone like Usopp to have observation hockey. You don't expect him to have any type of hockey. You expect him to be like the third wheel hiding back there with Chopper and Nami again. Even after they said that they weren't going to be the weak crew hiding back, like somehow Chopper can go into a giant, but he's still crying in the background at times. Like, I love Chopper, but the way they write him is inconsistent sometimes, and I really do not like it. Because this arc right now is mostly about Vegapunk. Every arc has like everyone gets their own shine, but every arc has their main focus on like specific characters. Like when it came to Thriller Bark, the main character being focused on there was Brook being introduced into the crew. and all that type of stuff. Same way with when we were at Water 7, it was about getting Frankie introduced. So the main thing was about getting Frankie. So all the other characters that have been established are kind of out doing their own things, doing shopping and that type of stuff, right? And we've already kind of had a little bit of that when we got introduced to Usopp, but we haven't got a real arc where Usopp is the real focus of growing, like actually getting real character development and being that character that even his father can't deny anymore, right? So I think if we go to Elbaf and we get Usopp actually with Dory and Borgie, he could actually be the real leader that we end up getting. And even possibly, I mean, down the line, in a few, like, this is just a future prediction for the show in the end. Like, when we get that end of the show, and as we get that initial future look into the what the crew's up to in the future, because you know they do it at the end of everything, every series, every movie, every whatever, they always end up doing it, so you know they're going to do it. I honestly, I would expect Usopp at the end of everything to be the leader of the Usopp Pirates, the giant pirates, and like I wouldn't be surprised at that at all, just because he has such a connection to Elbath already, and he's never even set foot on their soil. So I mean, I'm up for that, and I cannot wait to actually see what they do with the entire concept of Elbath and with Usopp especially. But when we do actually get the reveal of Shanks and the crew actually going to fight Kid and the other pirates, we end up getting a little cut to Kid's crew, and that's when we find out that Beck is actually the one that took his arm. It was hinted at when they were talking earlier, when they was just like, I wonder who they're coming for Beck, and they showed an arm in the background. You're like, that's Kid's arm, but then they really just solidify it right when they cut to Kid, and he's talking about just like last time we fought, they took my arm, and it wasn't even the main freaking guy. So it's just you really get that, just like they glued it together. It's just like, okay, so now we know 100% for sure that Beck's the one that took the arm, and this is going to be on site for both of them. And I can't wait for this to happen. I'm really sad that we're not going to get to see this fight though, because you know they're going to do the thing where they hype this thing up. They did it with Ace and Blackbeard. They constantly do it continually. They did it with Blackbeard and Law. So I mean, it's gonna happen. Like they're just gonna have a. We just know that they're fighting off their background. It's one of the things that I absolutely love about One Piece. It's one of the things I absolutely hate about One Piece, because it makes the world feel very lived in, but at the same time, I want to see the world being lived in at that exact point in time, that exact point in space, because I want to see that fight. I need to see that fight. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I want to see Law versus Blackbeard. That's a fight I need to see, because I want to see if Beppo can actually unleash that Zoe animal full moon thing. Because I understand that he's from there, but he didn't really grow up there. So like I want to see like if he can actually do that, because like I feel like that boy would go from like the really sweet little teddy bear to this big brawling beast that could mess anybody up. And I don't expect him to mess up Blackbeard. Like maybe, but it's like that. Maybe just because it would catch Blackbeard off guard. Like, and he's just like, well, he doesn't have a devil fruit, and like I can't really touch him on that factor. But like, if he catches them by surprise, maybe. But other than that, no, I don't see that happening. But maybe like I could see him causing enough of a problem where they can all escape, and Law can actually get. They may lose the rogue poneglyphs, but Law, Beppo, and maybe the other two duck hack dudes can like meet up with the Straw Hats as the only survivors. But I mean, that's a possibility. That's just a possibility of everything that happens for that. I watched a preview for next week's episode, and it's pretty much just going to be more of the fight between the Straw Hats and Lucci and Kaku and the S Hawk and S Bear. Looks like that we're going to be getting a bit of a fight between the S Shark, which is the Jinbei copy, versus Brook and the other crew that way. So I mean, it's one of those things like where I'm excited to see the fight. I am very excited to see the team up between Kaku, Zoro, and Lucci and Luffy. But at the same time, it's just I want to see that fight on Elbaf. I want to see that fight with Shanks. I want to see Shanks fight. You keep seeing Shanks, like Shanks. They always go to Shanks. Like you see that hockey display at the end of Wano when he came up against that tree marine. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the guy's ridiculously powerful. I want to see him actually in action. I want to see someone actually see if they can push him up against a wall and see what he can do, and then find out that he's actually doing the Dragon Ball thing, which is like, I was hiding half of my power this entire time, and I'm actually twice as strong. Actually, no, not twice. I was hiding 3 times as much power because now that I doubled my power, I need more power after. Like it's just it's the Dragon Ball syndrome. Sorry, that's just how it goes. But with next week's episode actually being a continuation from the Egghead, and because they set up something really exciting with Shanks and the other kid pirates, I do expect them to actually give us something really exciting next week for the fight with Egghead. Just for the fact is that they're going to want to keep you intrigued, right? So they're just like, they can't tease something really awesome over here and then go back here and do something not as awesome. So they're really going to need to pick up the fight between Lucci Luffy and Zoro Kaku versus the Seraphim. So, I mean, I think there's going to be someone that dies. I mean, I know people don't die that often in One Piece, but because there's so many Vegapunks, I think we're losing our first Vegapunk. And I'm pretty sure Edison is going to be the one to go, just due to the fact that in the preview, like you see him like a little busted up. I If that's a red herring and he's going to be fine because they consistently seem to be breaking and fine, breaking and fine, but you can't bring all 7 with you. You can only bring max 2. You can bring the main one with the apple on his head, or you can bring the one with the helmet, Shaka, which I'm pretty sure that that's what's going to happen. Like all the consciousness are going to get moved into that guy, and then they're just going to bring on that Vegapunk, and they're going to keep the steampunk Vegapunk, steam Vegapunk. But either way, guys, that's the episode review. I'm really glad that we got to talk about this episode. I'm really looking forward to next week's episode. Please let me know down below, what was your favorite part of the episode? What was your least favorite part of the episode? What are you hoping to see moving forward? Are you hoping to see more team ups between characters that you're not expecting? Or what are you expecting to see if we get to Elbath? Are you hoping that we also get to see the Shanks versus Kid Pirate fight? Anything you guys want to talk about, please drop it down below. Let me know. Also, leave a thumbs up on the video if you guys enjoyed the video. Share it around. Please, that's the best way to get this video out there, get this channel some more views, get this channel more popular, so that way we can actually share more of this conversation. I want to talk with you guys as much as I possibly can, and the more people we get watching this, the more we can actually spend time doing that. So, thank you guys for the video. Please, do not forget, comment down below, like the video, share it around, and anytime you guys want to talk about One Piece, come on back, we'll talk more about One Piece. Give me a message, and who knows, maybe I'll hit you guys back, because all I want to do is talk about this show with you guys. I absolutely love this show. And let's all be friends. And until the next time, love you guys.